Welcome to the I-80 Club and another Saturday morning coffee show. Josh Peterson and Jack Mitchell with you today. Jack, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hello. I'm good. Oh. Josh is muted. I've got the stage now, and it's okay if there are technical problems.
I don't know what happened. I think I bumped my cable and I couldn't hear anything anymore. So I was talking and you're looking at me and nodding your head along. Don't you do this? You just had an absolute crap show on our Wednesday night pod.
My only point is that we are very grace-giving, understanding when it comes to technical issues. And I was just expressing that to you.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal.
I feel that. Yeah.
Jack, how are you? I asked how you are, and then I
said fine.
Said
fine, and I still am. Nothing's changed. I'm not more upset or less upset than I was 8 seconds ago.
Excellent. All right. Well, welcome in, everybody. Josh and Jack with you on this Saturday morning. What's it like in Lincoln, Jack? It's a little gray. It's a little sunny here. It's like the sun's trying to poke out. I really wish it could.
I haven't really seen outside when it's light yet, so I'm not totally sure, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you'll get there someday.
I don't know. I've been downstairs. I've been working hard all morning.
You have been. You texted me. You said I've been doing X, Y, and Z. And also, Jack, we have an update on a text that you just sent to a different person. A little housekeeping as we get this thing rolling on Saturday.
Housekeeping?
Before we dive into all sorts of great content. So over the course of the next week, going to be a little weird because of the holidays. But how about this? We have basketball news, Jack, to deliver to the fine folks, because Caleb Henry has responded. The next episode of the Nebrasketball Hour will be tomorrow after Nebraska bludgeons North Dakota.
Baby, I'll be for the game. I will be in the building, and I will rush on home through the quick moving Lincoln traffic, and I will be home. We'll probably get started between 20 and 30 minutes after the game ends.
What time is that game tomorrow?
7:00 game. So probably.
Holy shit! This is gonna be a late post game show. My God.
Well, we did later than that. I mean, we did it after an 8
o'clock. But for
game.
like a crappy opponent, given the opponent, this is late.
Yes, it would be. And I think were this not the hottest show on the internet, we may not do it. But I think people will be in withdrawals if we don't do it. I do not think we're going to be able to do one after New Hampshire, but you bet your ass we'll be covering the Michigan State game. Hell, I don't even know. We might even do a pregame. I don't know what we're going to do for Michigan State, but that'll be big.
Oh, wow. A pregame show that Friday?
Maybe. No promises.
Let's go. I'm putting it down. I wrote it in pen, Jack. Can't erase pen. So that's what we got going on tomorrow. We'll also have it before the witching hour with Matt McMaster and yours truly, previewing week 16 of the NFL. Also, maybe a little Bears-Packers talk because that game is tonight. D'Lo says Michigan State watch party. Sadly, D'Lo, I mean, I guess I could do one, but not without Jack. Like, a lot of the fun is gone.
I hope to be there. I don't guarantee. When I request tickets, I don't always get them, and that might be the hardest one to get. I'm not at the top of the list for getting tickets when I request them. So, and I'm definitely not spending, $200 to get in or whatever the going price is now for those tickets. It's a lot.
Jack has very much been able to take advantage of the program being bad as it pertains to him getting tickets for years.
And it's going to
be a problem this year. It's going to be a problem.
Yes, because
Nope, now you're muted. Wow, tough look, Jack. Very tough, but we don't make fun of people. You're probably just going to have to exit and come back in because for whatever reason, when you do something wrong, wow, we are off to just a tremendous start here inside of the I-80 Club. Jack has the worst equipment. Help us with a new tier, a brand new tier that gets Jack a better microphone going into 2026. Are you back, Jack?
Do I have my microphone or the other one? The other one.
It's connected to the computer.
Yep. I know. We know the drill now. Sorry. I got to all the
buttons
and then we do it. Yeah, I know. All I did was set my drink down. But yes, I don't know if I'll be there or not. I suppose if I'm not, maybe a watch party. I don't know. Maybe.
Very exciting.
But I probably won't know until the week before.
Week of. All right, perfect.
Yes.
So yeah, like Jack said, this is the hottest show on the internet. We have to take advantage, so we're going to. So we're going to do another Nebrasketball hour on tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that one. Next week, Jack and I are not planning on doing an I-80 live because normally we would do those on Christmas Eve.
That'd be weird.
Tuesday was a little hard in terms of scheduling, right, Jack? So we're just going to punt next week on one of those shows. Hopefully
be with your families. Jeez.
Yeah, hopefully everybody understands. So we will not be doing that. There will also not be an I-80 football show next week. So there will not be one that comes out on Christmas. But Jack, I have scheduled already an interview with Bill Connolly for the following week, and we're going to preview the quarterfinals. So that episode will drop on New Year's Eve morning. New Year's Eve morning is when the next I-80 football show will drop with Bill, and we'll get you ready for the quarters, including one matchup that we know right now, the Rose Bowl between between Indiana and Alabama. So we'll talk about those. We'll talk about all of those games. And then Jack and I are still working on exactly what we will be doing surrounding the Vegas Bowl and Nebraska. We have had multiple conversations. Stay tuned. TBD, because we're cooking up some stuff right now in terms of the Las Vegas Bowl and what we could be doing surrounding that. So
that sounds interesting.
It does sound interesting, doesn't it? Now, I'm not a good cook, so hopefully the rest of perfect.
I'm great.
I'm very good at cleaning the dishes, though. Very good at cleaning the dishes. Bruce writes, what the hell? No show on Christmas Eve? Savages. We apologize. We very much apologize. And then Stu Manji, I-80 Club hitting the reset button on Husker football pods. Excellent work.
I wouldn't call it a reset, okay, Josh?
You would say the pods have sucked for 10 years.
This pod before 2022 was dead. Yeah. And I don't even mean 10 years, like infinity.
Yeah. Since Adam gave Eve, or did Eve give Adam? It was in
bad shape. And when we got in here, I'll tell you what, it was nothing. It was rubble. It was a non-existent pile of crap.
Yeah.
When we got here. And the work that we had to do, the nutrition stuff we had to do, there was a lot. Infrastructure type things, facilities, and we're still working with some microphone issues, but, we're getting to the point where we really have everything we need, and it took this long to get there. And you'll see that in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Big Red Roscoe, why do all sports media people have to complain about paying for tickets? Because we're so used to getting them for free. When we have to pay, we're like, gotta pay.
Okay, number one, just to be clear, was I complaining about paying? I just said
no. You were just acknowledging that you're not going to pay.
I know if I am ever going to buy a new mic, I probably shouldn't spend $300 on basketball tickets. So yeah, I don't. I am fine, and I do. I do pay for. I bought tickets. I've only bought tickets to volleyball games. I cannot get high enough on any list to get volleyball tickets ever.
Wow.
Football tickets, maybe once a year. Mm-hmm. Basketball tickets, since they've been bad, pretty good record of being able to get them. Volleyball, never. Bought.
Alex writes, microphone issues in year 4. Hey, look, you know what? We got it's just tweaks. We're just tweaking.
In our other pod, like in our radio career, I've been in, you've been on a radio show. I've been on a couple radio shows, and by year 3, it's been solid with the microphones in every other situation. And
Not here.
It's a bit of I don't know if it's apples to apples though. And there has been improvement from the beginning, right? We didn't even have these in year 1.
Yeah, we had different versions
mics, and so you've got to
have video, didn't have fun graphics like the ones above and below.
You got to at least consider 2022. I mean, look at 2022, the original podcasts. Okay, it's a different world. It's a different world. If you look where we've come from here to there, and we're doing a podcast today in December. We got more coming up at the end of the year. Even though some might say they're meaningless. But other people insist that they're still entertaining, and why would you yuck their yums?
Yeah, these are important pods. We have very important pods coming up at the. Wow, Sam writes it's been downhill since. To be honest, tough look for us. Also, Sam also asked if you are the Kurt Signetti of the local podcast empire.
Ooh,
what do you think about that, Jack?
Well, no, we would have been there in year 1. We would have been, where we're going in year 1.
We got off to a solid start. We have definitely gotten better. We've gotten better lately.
A lot of excitement initially, right? A lot of excited initially. Pulled in some big talent in year 2. right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
you know,
well, that was actually like year 3.
okay.
That was
It was a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at us
And
now,
we're
though.
hoping they're not. I mean, I haven't heard. We haven't fired any of Jeff Sheldon's relatives that I'm aware of.
No, and none of his relatives have decommitted from us either.
Yes, no, we did not have Lincoln's brother, who I see on Twitter sometimes. He is not.
Oh.
He had never made a commitment. Although I guess I'm open to it if we want a little depth.
Interesting.
You know, I like depth. So
Matt asked, "Was McMaster your McGuire hire? Beer koozie as a muff." Wow. But you know what? I think that McMaster is doing better for us than Garrett McGuire did for Nebraska. That's how I.
Ben Stevens is the.
Well, who's Ben? Yeah,
he is the Holgerson, maybe.
Way better. We've been very happy with Ben, and I don't think a lot of people have been happy with.
I was just thinking like the outsider with the bigger reputation. You know,
that's very much true. Very much
kind
true.
of like,
we reached out to him last second. We were like, "We need your help. We need more Big Ten coverage," and he's been
right.
Able
he
to
just
kill
happened
that.
to be free, and to a surprise to a lot of people, he said yes to this opportunity, even though it may be lesser than he's had before.
Hey, by the way, not to sidestep this bit for 5 seconds.
No, can we do this bit for an hour? I like this.
Yeah. Michael Severe tweeted yesterday about the Ben pod, because the latest Ben Stevens pod came out yesterday, which had a full preview of Oregon and JMU tonight, and then a ton of hoops. He had a thought, Jack, on all 18 teams. Michael wrote, "This is great. I mean, really, really great. Ben is in his bag." I agree. I listened to it. Jack, his knowledge of Big Ten basketball on December 20th.
I've only heard a little, but I'm so excited to have this for the year here.
I cannot fathom it. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he was like, "I'm going to give you one thought, at least one thought on every Big Ten team today." And I was like, what on earth?
God,
how does he? I don't have a thought on anybody but Nebraska. I saw UCLA won by some points last night. So there you go. That's kind of all
Washington
I got to say
won last
UCLA.
night. Washington,
Sure.
Or they were ahead when I went to bed. I guess I don't know that they.
Yeah, maybe
they pulled it up.
Maybe
And it's and it's nice to see Michael being once again generous with praise and kind words.
He loves the I-80 club. He's always texting me about it.
It's just who he is.
And that's why, Jack, if he has any jokes about you or about me, it's out of love, because he's friends with us.
Great friends.
Because we are friends.
Great. In fact, I'm putting my my Christmas card in the mail to him right after this. Wow. Right after this.
Do I get a Christmas card? Do you have my address? Do I need to send it to you?
No, but you know what I want?
I don't think I'm on the Jack Mitchell card list.
You know what I want for Christmas from you when I see you here in a week?
Ooh, steak night.
Yeah, my Nebraska basketball signed picture. Can you show it to everyone?
There.
Can you get it?
Yeah.
Can you get it and show everyone what I bought on eBay? This is amazing. He's had this at his house since like this summer. I don't think I've physically seen Josh. Is that right? I must have seen him at some point. Josh, have I never not seen you for like 6 months in the flesh?
It's been a long stretch.
It's weird. Yes. Look at that. Oh, God. That gives me goosebumps.
Look at that.
Sorry you don't have that in your basement.
Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be bringing this. Jack and I are doing steak night very, very soon. And this is, I look at it every day.
It was in Omaha. Someone picked it up for me. Ian, shout out Ian. Who's Ian?
Ian Alio.
Who's Ian?
Susan Elza.
It's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Is Bruce our what's it? Kristen Coggan?
The chef. I want to have Bruce cook us a meal sometime. That sounds
cool. A meal, Bruce.
Bruce will give you a free
Bruce
year.
Is saying, where's Steakhouse? Your house, baby. See you then.
That sounds awesome.
See you Tuesday.
Yeah. We're going to some steakhouse in Ashland, if I remember right. Yeah. I'm very excited for that.
I probably should make that a reservation or something for our date.
Not a bad idea. We got to lock down I think we have locked down the date mostly. All right, Jack, should we get into we're 15 minutes in. Should we enough with the banter, enough with the
I guess, but I was having fun with that.
We'll have a take for you.
We'll take more of your comments. Go ahead. Yes.
I've been ruminating on this. This to me, I don't want to call this like the most important week of the Matt Rhule era, but there is something about this week that I almost want to just like figure out what the hell is happening, because like I think a lot of people's opinions have changed. I think a lot of people are using and that doesn't have to have a negative connotation, like using the Dylan Raiola transfer. Just seems like, Jack, there's going to be before the transfer and after the transfer in terms of
Is
how
it
the program is viewed.
I was going to say, is it a new slate, or what would be another word for a new slate? Like
a restart?
Like, I think I grant a little bit of that. I think I do. Like, I'm maybe it might be a foolish thing for me to do. But yeah, I feel like now it's not the same as a true restart, as I'm looking at this as year one again, but I'm sort of looking at this, as maybe that whole situation just was part of a small part, but a part of the struggles. And there's some freedom that comes along with it that wasn't there before. I'm kind of hoping that, to be honest. I don't mean that to like cast aspersions on Dylan Raiola or anyone, but you just kind of get that feeling, and the more that they talk about it, man, the more that you hear people who are in the know talk about it, the more they emphasize it was mutual. It's like it started to sway from Dylan making the decision more toward it being mutual, more like I get that feeling, at least from hearing, Sipple talk about it or other people who I think have, more in the know than I am about it.
Yeah. A couple comments. Where was it at? From Adam. Reimagining. Keena writes, Rhule took the cartridge out and blew in it.
Yes.
Jordan says it's not a reset, it's a reload. And then Big Red Roscoe, I live out east, and I've had several people ask me if the program is falling apart due to the transfer. See, so that's interesting, right?
That's a perception that's out there, by the way.
So Stuart Mandel, he had like the funniest tweet, and I know you know the one I'm talking about on Monday, where it's like, oh man, poor Nebraska fans. He was the one thing holding them together. And obviously that's paraphrasing a little bit, but it's like, Stu, like, bro, you could not have read the room more poorly.
I quote tweeted and I said, who's going to tell him?
Yeah, seriously. It was just so, but look, that's different. And I wonder if, as his mentions filled up with a lot of Husker fans saying, no, you couldn't be more wrong. If he was thinking to himself, wow, there's a lot of sour grapes here with the Nebraska football fan base. Like, I have to imagine that he was thinking that, right? That he was like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, it's just like, now that they're
classic jilted lover.
Right. Classic change your tune on someone once they're out the door.
Yeah, Big Red Roscoe added, I'm friends with the Washington sports reporter, and he basically asked me that
too.
Yeah,
it probably does look like that more. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say like things are great here by any means, but, I think we've all kind of set on this feeling that it feels like this can be something of a new positive beginning for the program. That said, there is, as we've covered many times, we talked about on the show, what was it last time when we were talking about like naming the players you're excited for? We got into this in the Discord a little bit last night. Even there's so much building that has to be done. Like in some ways and I'm not talking about the nutrition program and the infrastructure. I mean the roster, and the coaching staff. Frankly, like there's just not a there may be a foundation of culture and infrastructure and all of that there, and systems that are there, but in terms of the Jimmies and the Joes, and hopefully there's some guys there that we're gonna find out and come along. Young guys that haven't played a lot. Maybe hope there's going to be jumps next year that we didn't see this year. But you look at just kind of the cupboard right now, and unless people take big jumps from where they were last year, or you bring in a whole bunch of new talent, it's hard to find reasons to be super optimistic about the personnel based on who you lost, who you might lose, and what people you expected big things of did last year.
Yeah. Let me read you this email, Jack, that I got actually during my radio show yesterday. And it's really stuck with me over the last almost 24 hours now. Sean wrote, put it on the list. Rhule is cooked. The vibes around this program right now are a joke. Unless this team somehow wins 2 out of the next 3 next year against the playoff teams, the end is near, even though financially we are stuck. Can this team get to 8 next year? That would mean winning 5 conference games. How often has that happened? Now he wants to be Fred, the guy who has 0 resources compared to you and a team that has always been an afterthought at this university. Put all the money into basketball at this point. At least it's enjoyable, and they don't play in the biggest dump. What do you think of that email from Sean?
Wow.
Yeah. And for those who are confused, what do you mean, Fred? What's that conversation? Matt Rhule made reference to Fred Hoiberg yesterday during his press conference. Like,
I didn't hear that. I heard some clips, but I did not hear that one.
Let me find. Actually, Robin Wash it tweeted. I can read you the exact quote. I'll find it real fast. But yeah, he made direct. He made, and I was talking about this with Riss last night too. He made reference by name to Signetti, and then he made reference to Fred Hoiberg. Here was the quote: "I'm going to do what Coach Hoiberg did. Just keep building and building and building," is what he said during yesterday's press conference.
I mean, if that's what he's doing, that's. I hope so. I hope that's true. If that's true, and he can do what Fred did, that'll be great. The point of the emailer was that, well, Fred didn't have resources, and that was part of it. But it's, I don't know that he's got a ton more now than he did then, Fred. Right? Like, I don't know that he did it with some other thing. Like, there were other things that changed, and part of it, frankly, was getting the right guys on staff. To be honest, part of it was getting some hits in the transfer portal. Some of it was developing guys who they kept in the program for a long time, and by the time they were older, they really became new players, as in Sam Hoiberg, Jamarcus Lawrence, and a few others. So if that's the analogy, he does kind of need to do what Fred did, to be honest. Like, it's not apples to apples for obvious reasons, but on the other hand, those are the things he needs. Get the staff right, hit jackpot on some transfers, and then get some guys who are foundational freshmen to senior players in your program.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody said, Husker from you, if you're going to be a developmental program, it helps to develop players. Also, a couple other comments.
Ooh,
what do you think
Jordan,
of this?
Good. Do you see Jordan's comment there?
Is Dylan is Bryce McGowan's? I love that. I love that comp. Honestly, like, it's a pretty good comp, right? Where it's like this guy, this 5-star who's going to change everything, and of course that didn't happen. There's a comment above from DZ. He's begging for time, and Adam says when Nebraska football is looking at Nebraska basketball aspirationally, then we are so effed. Like, Jack, I guess
hey, hang on. This could be a top 10 team. How would you like it if a third of the way through the football season, Nebraska football is number 10 next year? Would you complain about that?
Been a long time since we've seen that. Jack, basically what I'm trying to figure out right now, and I think I've asked this variation of this question many times over the last few years with you, is like, am I overreacting to just the tenor and the tone that everything, like, that it feels like right now? Because I think DZ, I think that comment hits on it. He's begging for time. I very much have sensed a shift in how he is talking about the program and like what they are trying to be aspirationally. Like, he had that quote, I don't know if you saw this one yesterday, Jack, where he basically said, like, Bill Belichick told me it takes you 3 years to get your staff right. And it's like, wow, that, and I understand why he wouldn't have said that 3 years ago. Like, hey, have no fear, guys, but in 3 years, I'm going to have to finally figure out what my staff is going to be. But it's kind of like this retrofitting of why the team has struggled like they have so far. He seemed he seemed very defensive in that answer to Sipple's question about the reset, about like, hey, we've gone to bowl games the last 2 years. And that was when he brought up the program was dead for 10 years beforehand. Like, he seems very frustrated by this has been the best 2 years for Nebraska football in a decade. Why are people so frustrated with and angry with how Nebraska football is playing right now? Like, that's the vibe that I got from him while watching the press conference.
Yeah, I mean, I think he made a decision, and probably his family made a decision at some point this year and said, we really want to be here, right? We really want this to be long-term. We want the job, all of those things. And then for literal weeks later to feel like, oh my gosh, now I have got a short leash here that I wasn't really thinking I had at that point. I'm like, just go back to the way that the conversations around the contract extension, from him and the way that it was positioned and all of those things. It's just, man, it feels like things have changed. And goodness sakes, there's only been 3 games? 3 games since that happened? 4 games?
4 games.
USD, right UCLA, 1 and 3.
State, Iowa.
Yeah, yep. 1 and 3 since that happened. But yeah, I think, he probably is feeling some level of pressure and frustration. Every coach has said it, and I always push back against it, but maybe I'm wrong. Bo said it. Frost said it about this place. Like, this place, I don't know why it's any different than LSU or Alabama or Oklahoma or Florida or wherever. But 3 coaches out of 4 have come here and basically said this place just chews you up and spits you out. And they've felt the pressure of that. You can see it manifests on them through this entire thing. And maybe that happens in other places too, but I remember when Bo said it, in that second tape, he
with Bo it just seemed so like, oh come on, like Bo, it just seemed like it was more of a him problem, than anybody else.
Yeah, maybe it was, but he said something. He was like, I've been to Oklahoma, I've been to Baton Rouge. It's not like that here. I'm paraphrasing what he said in the
I remember that quote.
In the Lincoln North Star classroom.
Amazing.
So it's obviously taking some level of a toll on him the way he's discussing, and then he's the thing. I remember you asked me a question at his opening press conference right after it, and I was very excited about him after the opening press conference. I really. Man, and just enjoyed hearing him talk. Thought he communicated so well. Thought that was going to be a benefit. I understand that didn't necessarily translate to wins on the field. I didn't ever say that, but I was so excited. And I remember you said something to the effect of, or you asked, like every coach, and you were probably looking primarily back at Scott Frost, like has this thing that looks as a positive quality when they're hired, something that you're excited about them. Scott Frost, it was kind of confidence. We'll dictate, or whatever it was he said. They'll have to adjust to us, that sort of thing. And people liked that. But eventually that becomes, it's kind of like when you get in a relationship with someone and there's this quirk that you find cute at the beginning. And then by the time that you've, 10 years down the road, it annoys the hell out of you about them. And it looks like something different than it is.
Yeah.
I think that part of it, he's just, reading what people are saying here, I think that part of it is like, yeah, but his priorities seem like they are beyond just winning football games sometimes.
Yeah. And
right or wrong. And if the problem is you're not winning football games, people are saying that, you kind of gotta drill down and focus on that part of it. And I know he believes his kind of PR strategy helps effectuate the winning. It hasn't so far, it has not probably to the degree at all he thought it would, at least.
We're reading comments inside of our Discord server. If you'd like access, patreon.com/I80 Club is the way to go. Some really good stuff from our subscribers. Bigger and easy, along the lines, Jack, of what you literally just hit on. I honestly think he just needs more time. I would like him to ditch the podcast and other extracurricular shit. Well, there was a comment a couple seconds ago from Adam. Jesus Christ, it's not different. This is going back, Jack, to what you said at the start of that. Alabama fans were ready to fire their coach in the first quarter last night. Yeah, like
that's what I think. That's what I thought too. Like that was when Bo said that, I was like, give me a break. Give me Lincoln's ripping you up more than Baton Rouge and Norman are. Whatever. Like
Mo says the expectation is to win and win big immediately without ever losing to a team that you are favored to. 2 seasons to build, or half the fan base is already mentally checked out. Like I'll hear that to some degree, but Jack, because again, I've spent so much time the last week in particular, and really since the end of the regular season, trying to figure out like why is everybody so frustrated, and why am I so frustrated? I'm asking myself that same question because again, like a few years ago, you're okay with the slow build. It's making sense, right? Did we all kind of get high on the Matt Rhule year 3 supply? Perhaps we did. But I think that there is something to the fact, and I believe we talked about this with Dirk Chatlin when he joined us last month for one of the football shows. They just don't look better. Like there is something about the eye test, and like I watch so much football, you watch so much football. So like we know what good football looks like, and we know what a 7-win team should look like, and what an 8-win team should look like, and what a 9-win team should look like. And so the fact that they were 7 and 3 going into the final 2 games, and it was almost they might be able to get to 8 or even 9 in spite of themselves, is kind of the tone and the tenor, I guess, that I was approaching those 2 games with. And so it's not just that they went 7 and 5, but it was kind of this like blah 7 and 5. And especially the October games, I don't know about you, but I have very much viewed them through a different lens given what happened in November, where on one hand, in the moment, I was like, wow, celebrate the comebacks. They were able to overcome mistakes against Maryland and Michigan State and Northwestern, and they were able to get the wins. Whereas now in hindsight, it's like, good Lord, They had to look at what it took to beat those god-awful teams. And then when they got on the field versus Penn State, a bad Penn State, and when they got on the field versus Iowa, same Iowa as ever, they get absolutely rocked. And like that, it's inarguable, right? It is inarguable that those two games are very much shaping all of our views.
100%.
And that is, we cannot underestimate.
And the Minnesota game, I would
say.
And
the Minnesota game. And Jack, like one more thing before you go, like the contract stuff starts the week of the Minnesota game. It starts that Sunday when James Franklin is fired, and it continues into the press conference on Monday when he spent the first almost 10 minutes talking about that job and how this is a great thing and everybody should be happy. I want this to happen every year. They go and they get skunked that Friday. It seems like some stuff might have happened behind the scenes with the Raiola family after that. And then off to the races the rest of the season goes. They're 5-1 going into that game. They finished 2-4. And that is quite the dividing line. And you can go then a couple weeks later with the USC game, and that's the week that the contract stuff all goes down. You know, I mean, is it fair, Jack, to ask the question of like, was he in particular and the program at large, but was he just distracted as hell? And that really affected Nebraska football in an incredibly negative way over the last month and a half of the regular
season. Because you could argue the USC game does not fit into that bucket of
because they play well for
they played and although there were issues with run defense, no doubt about that, but like looking as a whole at that game, like that did not look any. I mean, I put that in a completely different bucket than Penn State. They're very different losses in Penn State, Iowa. It's a very different loss in Penn State, Iowa, and Minnesota, where it feels like they didn't show up. Like they definitely. In fact, Josh, part of me feels like I was thinking back about that game. It's still kind of crazy that at some point they had a chance to really just take control of that game in a way that almost buried USC.
Yeah, what was the score? What was the score when Dylan got hurt? Was it 17-6? 14-6?
Is that when he got hurt? But even in the first half, like they had a shot at that. So
well, yeah, Dirk, and I know we talked about that with Dirk. Like that was a game where it's like, oh my gosh, you are kicking yourself because you let USC hang around because you were never able to take advantage of anything.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think your assessment though is right. I think that's part of why that colors, and it's not necessarily wrong either, right? Like yeah. Like how do you? I feel both of these things, and I know not everyone does. I have always been a proponent, probably more than the average person, of stability, consistency, letting some, build up some consistency in a program, not being too quick to pull the fire trigger. That's got me critiqued a lot, and I've been wrong before. Like I even thought about it. I mean, I have gone over and been wrong. I was with Scott Frost for sure, although I was right with Fred Hoiberg on that one. And there were some people who were ready to end it with Fred Hoiberg as one example. And I do still feel an element of that with Matt Rhule, but I do feel like there's got to be some significant. It hasn't gone right. He hasn't done everything right. Obviously, like he's done too much wrong. It doesn't mean it's impossible for him to do those things right, but like I think you've got to write some of the things that haven't worked. And I kind of outlined them when I was doing the friend analogy. I kind of outlined what those were very generally. And then, just sort of it really complicates the perception for everyone with kind of that tone that you were talking about, the contract extension, the PR work, all that makes it hard. It's hard for him to make the case. It makes it harder for him to make the case that he has really drilled down. He's identified that there's problems. He thinks he's fixing those problems. He knows what they are, when there is still it feels like there's a lot of attention. There's still a bit of a, hey, I've done a great job, doing a great job in every respect. He didn't say that. That's a Bill Callahan quote.
I wish he would have, though. Done an excellent job at every.
Like there's sort of that there's sort of like it's sort of back and forth. He kind of plays both sides of that to some degree, and so you wonder if it's going to get to a point where he's getting sort of stubborn about the whole thing, in making the point that he's doing a good job, and he's and not just do some real sort of reflection and realizing, like auditing exactly, hey, where have we really go wrong among the whole thing? And it doesn't mean we didn't do good things in building up infrastructure and taking care of some of the issues that were there in the program. Like both can be true, I think. Right? You can, but still, you could have done that and succeeded better than a lot more than you have. I mean, that's possible. And I'm not even saying do a Signetti either. That's not what that means.
Yeah. Jordan writes, and by the way, Signetti is like such this cloud that is hanging over everything. And I have to imagine every university is dealing with this. I bet Wisconsin fans are saying the same thing about Fickell. He's not Signetti. Like Signetti is, he's changing the calculus on everything. What do you think of this? Jordan writes, we can never be good in all three phases, offense, defense, special teams. Once one side improves, another falls back.
Yeah. Even on a micro level this year, like the USC game again.
Yeah. Inside of literally a football game. Jack, I cannot get over the fact that if you would have told us 2 years ago after the 23 season, hey, they're going to really fix turnovers, because that was the biggest issue in 2023. Turnovers is going to be a net positive for Nebraska in a couple of years. And they're going to massively overhaul special teams, not to the point where they'll be average, but they're going to be like they still went 7-5. Like that's and
they had a great running back.
Johnson.
Yeah.
They had an 1,800-yard all-purpose back.
And they had portions of the defense that played really well all year.
I don't understand that. Husker for MU writes, I think all the changes that happened in college football while Rhule was in the NFL changed the calculus. He's been scrambling to adjust and catch up since. College football is way different now. Like that is obviously an arguable. And that when you were mentioning a few minutes ago the question that I asked you from when he got hired, I was trying to figure out where you were going with it, because I was like, what did I ask? What did I say? Because I do know one of my big things back then was, can the way he operated in college football at Baylor and Temple work still in college football? Like, is that possible? Is it possible to develop to that degree? Is it possible to keep players for that long? And it's funny because at least on defense, if you just go with the defensive line, like a lot of those guys are veterans. They just kind of stunk. They just didn't get better. But those are like, it's what you would have hoped for. Year 2, year 3 in particular. Look at the freshmen of 2023 and how they're still in the program,
Yeah, they seem set up for success there, personnel-wise. Really, like, especially given the track record, one of the things they did incredibly well was develop the D-line in the first 2 years.
Yeah.
And year over year, incredible improvement. On everybody on there. It was incredible. One of the huge successes of the program so far has been Jamari Butler, Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker year over year, and the players that they turned into that they were not before Matt Rhule and his staff got here. So, yeah. And on that thing, I remember, Josh, like, I think what you were saying, and you might have even used these terms. You're like, I wonder if and when it goes bad, it will, at the beginning, you're like, man, this guy's a great orator, great communicator, and it'll feel more like used car salesman on the other side, I think was what you said. And I don't know if that's really how I would describe it. It's less that and sort of, I don't know, like influencer than used car creator.
Wow. Yeah. I think that fits. Couple things. Now here's like more of a positive spin on everything. And I appreciate this from whatever it is, 12. It's annoying as F that he's now on his 3rd defensive coordinator in his 4th year, but he's also done something that none of the coaches post Osborne have done. If I remember correctly, he's fired coaches that have performed poorly. Butler gone after only a year. Braden, Raiola wasn't great previous years, but there were signs they were okay. That is inarguable. Like, he made those moves, and you have to appreciate it. I do, because Bo didn't do it.
Every
Ross
time
didn't
he
do
has.
it.
Every time that's looked to be an issue. He's at least tried.
Yeah, the problem is that he
succeeded at sometimes.
Yeah,
Mike Eckler was
incredible.
Eckler was great. Addison Williams, he wasn't here at the beginning, so that was a replacement.
Nope. Yeah, that was a really
good. So that
move.
one was good. Like it is it has been a mixed bag on that. How those have been successful. So that's kind of like I don't know. That's like no, if it's pass fail, I don't know what to give him on that, because it's not either. It's a C.
Yeah, he's made the moves, which you appreciate. Has he identified the people to fix them? Like that's TBD.
I mean, it is a little perplexing. Like, I don't. There's some obvious things that I see that haven't, been addressed that need to, and one of the biggest one is just kind of the in-game. It's just like the in-game nervousness or whatever it looks like. It manifests itself so frequently.
bad.
But there are a lot of things that have been addressed too. It's almost like it's playing whack-a-mole. You get one thing taken care of, you cover one leak, and then you sprout a leak somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this year seemed like. Because they did take care of. They did so many of the things that we said they had to do to be good this year. And
it still didn't matter.
But then new things sprouted up that we didn't expect. But there is still one consistent, and I do think it is that that in-game coaching really hurt him against USC. I don't know if there were other ones this year that I would specifically point out.
Yeah, I don't think in-game coaching is why they lost to Michigan. That was more of a run. Like,
no,
I would say,
although that first drive, you still go back to that one.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I'm still fine with the aggressiveness there. And I know they lost by 3, so it's so easy to say in hindsight they should have.
By the way, I put Michigan in the same bucket as USC for the record.
Yeah.
In terms of the type of loss, I think, right?
Sure. I don't think you and I came out of that like super like,
no, that wasn't like alarm bells for me.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, hey, they're not where we thought they would be yet.
It was one of the offenses, more impressive games of the year, I thought.
USC and Michigan are in a separate boat. The Minnesota, Penn State, Iowa triumvirate is the, oh my gosh, alarm bells. And in particular, the Minnesota game, because that was a disaster, top to bottom. Play calling was shitty all night long. Defense was getting gashed all night long, especially, I guess not really all night long, but once Minnesota started gashing them, they made it look easy on those drives in the second half. Incredibly, incredibly easy.
So, I mean, if you say, like, what's the fix? Well, number one, you can't have whack-a-mole, right? You can't fix one problem and have another problem come up, number one. And then if there are problems that run through the entire time, again, I would say the sort of just the in-game decision-making, coaching, whatever, kind of system that they've got behind that has kind of been endemic of the whole time. You gotta take care of both of the, and maybe there are other ones too that you guys can think of that have consistently been problematic. But other than that, like, what is there? Like, it's been turnovers sometimes, other times it's not. It's been huge offensive line problems, other times not really. It's been,
and they ran the ball fairly well this year, right?
Stopping the run sometimes, other times it's been good.
Well, let me throw this one at you then, Jack. Big Red Easy. It's crazy to think that having a 5-star recruit at quarterback may have stunted any progress we could have made. I mean, how much of this also does come down to they have just not hit at quarterback at all. Like, one of the things that you need in a quarterback is for them to be an eraser, where they can take a play or they can take a game and they can raise the level of everyone around them. And though I guess it is funny just to argue with myself for 5 seconds, he did leave some comebacks this year. He put him in a bad spot against Maryland. He got him out of it. Certainly that last drive against
he won that game against Maryland 100%.
Yeah, like he made
Northwestern.
He
won. He had a huge part of, and they probably don't win either of those games with him.
But man, on the aggregate, I don't think that Dylan Raiola raised the level of play for Nebraska football.
I think he played really well against USC too, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like 2 years ago, because we are basically at the 2-year anniversary of Dylan choosing Nebraska. Oddly enough, Jack, he decided to commit and he decided to leave on days where I was off, and I missed the Falderall on my radio show, which was very sad both times. But Jack, 2 years ago, and in like that entire offseason leading into 2024, the conversation surrounding Dylan was they've got to take advantage of this, and they have to raise the level of play top to bottom to match him. And like that, I wouldn't say that was the problem. The problem was not, oh man, Dylan is up here and everybody else is down here. That was not why Nebraska failed over the last 2 years. He wasn't that guy. He never turned into that guy.
Consistently, no. And I still don't know. It'll be so interesting to see what kind of success he has next, because I feel like that is going to be an answer to a lot of the questions we're asking, where the issues lied. If it was,
I really think I'll put this, I'll say this publicly to you. I think he's going to be what he always was. I don't think that the problem is Nebraska football as it pertains to him, but I also don't think he's going to go to a Georgia, Ohio State equivalent that he could have out of high school. I think he's going to go to a so-so program, though I guess Arizona State's not so-so if he ended up there. They won.
Is the Oregon stuff, is the Oregon smoke gone?
I think that
one always was surprising to me.
I think that that's not real. I think that was more of a, let's see if we can juice his numbers.
Also, doesn't Dante Moore still have eligibility?
He does have eligibility. Also, Oregon's a Nike school, which I do think matters in this. I think the Adidas stuff is important for this discussion. So I don't buy that. I think he'll go to a school, and I think he will be fine. I think he will make some plays that we're like, wow, there's that guy in there, and then he'll make others, and he'll get sacked a lot. The thing is, Jack, can this big arm ever show up from him? This huge, massive arm that we heard about for years. I mean, I read a story the other day about Dylan. Yeah, maybe his next school will take advantage of his big arm. And I'm like, where is this arm? I never saw it here. His deep ball was terrible. If you and I have talked about ad nauseum.
Yeah, but look, I don't think, but he does have he
can throw it far,
sure. He definitely can.
Can he actually throw it to his teammates?
And coming out of high school, you watch his tape, and it was all these unbelievable, pinpoint deep throws. Like that's still, and I know I bring this up ad nauseum, so I won't go on this. I did it on the radio. I did it, but like how was that not a part of this offense?
Yeah.
And it's not as simple as just as he didn't have protection. That certainly played a ton into it.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world do you have the receivers you've got and the quarterback you've got, and the deep pass is non-existent? Like, what is the point of getting a great quarterback, a great passing quarterback, if you are basically never going to throw deep, and when you do, it's not working? But just I bet the percentage, I don't know how you get this. I said I wasn't going to go into it. That is the most baffling thing about all of this, is why that happened. I know part of it. I don't know all of it.
If you would have told us a couple years ago, yeah, it's not going to work out well, I think we would have all said, yeah, I can see that world. Nebraska's not good enough. They don't get good enough players. It not working for the reasons that it did, I think, is genuinely shocking. Yeah, Jordan says his best deep ball is underthrowing his receiver and getting a defensive pass interference. Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, it is.
Because, that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get him, when you're excited 2 years ago that you get him, what player are you envisioning?
Could it be a different number 15 who, has some funky mechanics from time to time, Jack? Like, could it be? Is that what you were imagining?
I guess. And I guess
that you're making him a Mahomes.
No, I wasn't actually. And maybe that's not. And maybe if that is the comp, maybe maybe that's not really, what Mahomes is known for either. I suppose either, right? It's about making, I don't know, creative plays. I don't know, how would you describe what Mahomes is?
I had we had Doug LeMaurice on the pod multiple times last season, but I had him on the ID football show a month and a half ago, probably. And he said, the reason that Mahomes is able to do what he does is because he is so good at the normal stuff, like his footwork and all the things. So when he does the off platform, because that's what I think separates Mahomes from everybody else. His ability to do stuff once it's out of system is why he is who he is. I think, Jack, in the 90s, Michael Jordan started doing the fadeaway shot. Michael Jordan started doing that because his hops were disappearing. He was not he didn't have the ups that he used to, right? So he needed to do something to fall away from the defender and still get the ball over them. The lesson that people my age and older took was fadeaways look cool. I'm going to start doing the fadeaway. No, he did the fadeaway because he needed to do the fadeaway. Patrick Mahomes does the off-platform stuff because he needs to do the off-platform stuff. But the wrong lessons were taken from that. And so you get a bunch of kids who are trying to do the goofy stuff. No, he has earned the right to do the goofy stuff. You haven't. And I don't want to say that that's all that Dylan was doing and that was the biggest problem. But, his footwork was trash.
By the way, 100% did. I don't know if you can intentionally make it happen, but and he sometimes did, he did sometimes do that too, right?
Sure. We always talked about why are all the players so weird? They never have a normal play.
He was willing to, he did take some chances on those types of plays, right? With while he's falling down in the Maryland game, was in the Minnesota game.
I was going to say, remember the Minnesota game early on?
Did a left-handed pass, right? Or something. He did have a little bit of that sometimes worked, but I don't know. It is, and there's a lot of people in the chat saying they just realized he wasn't able to throw deep, and so they didn't. I don't believe that, for the record.
I still think that he has a strong arm. I still think he does. I don't know how that.
I saw him in the spring game thing, and I think they're probably saying he's just not accurate, but he does that. Like the spring game thing, they did the thing where they were doing the contest so you could throw the football and hit the goalpost. And you got to see, and again, it wasn't top tier quarterbacks. It was it was Gramstead and Davila and TJ Lateef. It was the visual difference between what he could do and what they could do was stunning.
Really?
He looked like
it makes sense, right? He's a 5-star.
He looked like
so
a man among. He looked like a man among boys when he was doing that thing.
Interesting.
And so, like I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy that he can't do that.
Do you regret that they brought him in? Like you couldn't have said no, right? Like if he says, "Hey, I want to come to Nebraska," like Matt Rhule saying
Rhule would
no,
have got killed. Yeah, I mean,
it would have gotten killed.
Everyone wanted him to.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wanted Matt Rhule to do it. Like in retrospect, yeah, I think I do, because then I guess you go with McCord, and then you try and you keep going in the portal, or you get someone else as a recruit that first year.
I would love to know what the plan would have been. So you bring in McCord. What do you do? Because he would have just been a 1-year stopgap. So what would have the plan been for? Like, they would have needed a starter this year. So what does that look like? Like, would they have brought in McCord and a high school player? Would they have brought in McCord and a portal guy that had more years of eligibility? Like, could they have brought in McCord and Sam Levitt, for example? I don't know. Like, I'm very interested in what the plan would have been.
Yeah,
moving forward.
I don't know.
Husker for MU. I think Dylan Raiola overthinks everything because everything in his life has been orchestrated by someone else that shows up on the field, slow to ID the defense and pass rush, reluctant to throw deep or throw the ball away. Yeah, I mean, we theorized it, Jack. I know I pissed a lot of people off earlier this year saying he thinks about or he cares about his completion percentage. I still think that. He was a 70% passer. He certainly played that way. He never played like a guy who was okay with it dropping a few points.
Like, what's the benefit of that exactly? Just anybody looking at completion percentage as some end-all be-all stat?
Yeah. It's a pretty number, right? Ooh, 70%.
Yeah, but it's not even like a glamour stat.
No, it's not.
Like when you look at it, the first thing you look at a quarterback stat line, what do? Touchdowns versus interceptions is where I go to immediately.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Touchdowns, interceptions, yards. Those are the things. But Adam says it. Agree with Josh. He's just like Shedeur in that regard. Yeah, I mean, we said the same thing about Shedeur. Cares about his completion percentage.
I don't know if it
would rather take sacks.
I don't know if it's completion percentage or turnover avoidance. I think those are maybe two slightly different things.
See, it's interesting. I know we got a lot of Packer fans that listen to this show. Like, that was a critique of Aaron Rodgers for years. It's like, cool, Aaron, you had 40 touchdowns and 4 picks. But when you need to make a play in the playoffs, like, are you okay trying to throw that ball in there? Interception potential be damned. Are you okay with being aggressive? And the whole franchise at times seemed, especially in Mike McCarthy era, just way too conservative. And so I would say that, like, there was this, a lot of people have theorized for years now, Jack, this turnover avoidance. How much of it was built in because of how terrible 2023 was? It was like, you cannot be dangerous with the football. I personally think that the blame goes around. I don't think it's just on Matt Rhule. And part of that is, again, why not just throw the ball away? There's a difference between trying to fit it in to a window that might be a little too tight and it could result in an INT and throwing the ball away. The latter isn't going to get you a turnover. The former could. Why was he rather afraid from just throwing the football away? Why were you okay
that would be that's
6
one
yard
distinction.
sack?
Yep, you're right. Yeah. That's one distinction. That's completion percentage.
Yeah, but Adam says it. What's funny is that with all that said, Dylan still threw some bad picks in his time here. He did. Like the interception last night. Oh my gosh, by Mateer. That was like a Dylan Raiola level interception. The pick
you don't
six,
see someone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
or you misread the defense. Yeah.
What happened? Yeah, but he never threw kind of the normal, deep ball interception. Like,
they didn't even take. That's why everyone was like, well, he couldn't do it. They didn't try it. They didn't try it in any meaningful sample to be able to say, because that's why I'm like, okay, even the worst case scenario on those is usually you get an arm punt.
Arm punt. Yeah. Like didn't it happen against Northern Iowa? Remember his first interception against Northern Iowa was like, wow, that was weird. His receiver should have fought for the ball. And that's honestly, in my brain, I can't really remember a whole lot of other deep ball, throw it up, try to make a play, arm punt interceptions in his career. He has to have had another one or two. I can't remember any of them, though, off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, I don't. That's a great question. I'm sure there probably was some out there, but I do not remember. Was there one against Iowa? No, there were no deep balls against Iowa. That was not. Never mind. That wasn't him. Never mind. Yeah.
Furls, we will always have the UTEP game. We will always have the UTEP game. God. That was
The Illinois game. And I'll continue to go back to that too when we're doing this whole assessment, because if that guy up through whenever he got injured, when was that? Do we know when he got injured?
I think he started getting banged up. I heard that he started getting banged up in the Illinois game.
Well, that's interesting because that's about where it changed.
Yeah, and then it got exasperated against Rutgers, and then I think he was, banged up on and off for the rest of the year.
And again, I know he didn't face any incredibly stellar opponents, but Colorado and Illinois, during that first year.
Yeah. Adam says that Illinois overtime was bonkers. Yeah, what did he get sacked 3 times? It was terrible.
That game was not on him in the least. That was a whole lot of other issues in that game. And again, I remember my tweet at halftime of that game. I referenced it earlier. I should go look it up sometime.
We always talk about that.
But I believe it, man. At halftime, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with this team, but I tell you this, they got a quarterback that's going to keep him in every game. And that's how I felt after having seen him through whatever it was, 4.5 games.
Jack, I got a text that game from somebody that I trust. It was like, how many Big Ten quarterbacks would you even take over him at this point? And it seemed like a normal question. Were. Yeah.
It did. Yeah. It did not seem like that is where I think a lot of us were at that point. And I don't know. It makes me wonder, Josh, if the injury, it should be whatever it was. I think we all thought it impacted him all of last year, but that shouldn't have come into this year. That shouldn't have come into this year, I wouldn't think.
No, he was fine.
I don't know what it was.
He's just, sometimes the answer, maybe it's just the simplest one. He's just not as good as we thought he would be,
Yeah, but when he showed it for a decent sample, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, did he get spooked? Did he have the yips to some degree? Like, I don't know. I think those are.
The pass he missed to Lindemeyer. Good call on the YouTube chat. I forgot about
that. That was bad.
That's typically a pass. That's the kind of pass he's usually really good at.
Yeah, but remember he did that. He missed Banks in the Ohio State game as well.
I always had this. I've said this before. Like he was weirdly good at guys, like leading guys the right amount horizontally and doing the feather over the top thing, but that didn't translate to vertically.
Jack, you know what? I mean? That's the other thing that disappeared too. Remember we loved the layered throws. Those just stopped happening. Those disappeared entirely.
Did some against Houston Christian, I remember again, but against better defenses.
And maybe that's what it was. Matt, here's an interesting thought from Matt. Sometimes it's better to be resource constrained. That's where creativity and efficiency can blossom. Well, it's time for that stuff to blossom, moving forward. And that's why I can't wait just to see what happens over the next month and a half with the coaching staff coming together and then the roster construction coming together. And in particular, Jack, so I put out a clip yesterday on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, please. We would very much appreciate it. And I woke up to an email that was sent from a reader of it at 2:19 a.m., basically ripping us to shreds for even discussing Nebraska bringing in a portal quarterback, which I thought was like the weirdest emails. I actually responded. I was like, no offense, but that would be a horrible decision if they decided we're riding with TJ Lateef.
At very least a backup, another person in the room. They've got they need the numbers.
They need depth.
Unless they're signing another freshman.
Also, Rhule said quarterbacks yesterday in his press conference. So they're definitely going to bring in somebody. Anyway, I can't wait to see what they do there. And you and I have talked about it plenty, so we don't have to do it today, and we're out of time. But
oh man,
do they go after a big name guy? Do they go after a player with experience at the lower level that's going to be cheaper? Or do they go after the 5-star, 4-star backup that hasn't played yet or has played in a very limited capacity and it's kind of an upside play? Or I guess the fourth option is pure depth and TJ Lateef is the guy. I think that is the least likely option. I think the second least likely option is the Brendan Sorsby high dollar kind of quarterback, a Dylan Raiola, if you will, Jack. And so which of the other two do they go after? Lower level, proven commodity, but it's going to be a little bit cheaper, or that kind of high upside, hasn't played a whole lot just yet? What could their career turn into? I don't know, and I can't wait to find out.
I know what I want, but we'll see.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And one other thing on Raiola too. And I don't know how much this impacted things or not, but it felt like when he got here, he was given a script, whether by himself or by someone else, about what the next few years were supposed to look like, what his character was, what his, what he was good at. like, and frankly, again, he did a lot of it. He did. I'm not even saying it was, I'm not trying to say it was disingenuous, but it almost felt like the script was getting away from him at some point. In terms of just being, and again, it was on field, but it was also off field, and it was being a good leader. And I'm not saying he doesn't have those things in him, but it was like playing that role to its fullest in every possible way. It was being public and visible. It was being, in a weird way, it almost feels like it's a little bit of this whole, maybe you're a little too much focused on PR. The same thing that some are saying about Matt Rhule.
Yeah. Well, here's the question. Is this just how it's going to be? I don't want to paint a broad brush with like the entire generation, but like a kid with some money and some fame with parents, like, is this just how it's going to be now moving forward? Like, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I don't think he's the norm for someone, or that he is the outlier for someone in his situation. He is much more the norm than maybe anyone would want him to be.
Yeah.
Wow, a helicopter dad. Who knew in college football?
Yeah, they definitely.
Like, what are we?
But everybody. People seem to indicate who know it more intimately than I do that it was more intense somehow. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But you make a good point. Like, I'm sure dads of quarterbacks, moms of quarterbacks. Listen, I've seen it happen in youth sports plenty. I can't imagine. Can you imagine being a coach? I wonder how many calls Matt Rhule takes from parents.
Let alone a parent whose name is on the stadium. Like, it had to be a huge pain in the ass. Had to be a huge.
I wonder how much that happens just in general, because that would be just gross.
Yeah.
Jack, before we go, conversation. I'm sad that's over. I felt like we could go another 2 hours on that.
You excited to finally see Nebraska basketball again tomorrow? Have you missed them over the course of the last week?
I am. I woke up today and I was like, it felt like there should be a game today. Although I'm glad that the football, and last night got me a little more excited for the football today.
Last night's game was good. I'm bummed that it was another double-digit playoff loss or win by a team. That game was way closer. It didn't
feel like it though.
Oh, no, yeah. And how about that poor Oklahoma kicker?
I feel terrible for that kid.
Good Lord, that first miss. Dude, I was dying. Fowler was like, "Yep, and this kicker's been so good, and it's good." What? It's not good. Like, he was calling the whole kick like it was good, and I'm like, that's drifting a little bit. Are you sure that that's going to be a good make?
I didn't have audio from where I was watching it, so I'm sure they said this, but he was like 6 for 6 from 50 plus this year.
Yeah, he missed his first field goal, and then he like made every kick the whole season, and then he misses his last two. Absolutely terrible. Matt says both Oklahoma and Alabama look pretty bad. Dude, Indiana is gonna rock them.
You think so?
I think I could. When I saw that spread, it's like 5.5. I'm like, well, I'm gonna put that in my pick. Give me Indiana to cover easily.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought I was a little down on the playoff coming in this year, because I remember how excited I was last year for that Friday night, that Indiana Notre Dame. I'm like, man, this is great. Not necessarily because of the matchup, but just snowy. It's December. It's a home game. It was, and like I was thinking a lot yesterday afternoon. I was like, I don't feel like that about this one, and I think it's about the whole playoff slate, because you have two apparent pretty significant mismatches, and Ole Miss is checked out already. I think that hurts it. Like that hurts it. But then I watched last night, and I was like, okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty good entertainment. So I'm excited about the games today. It is really dumb that, I know this is the NFL, but like that they're stacking the good game at the top because of the NFL. Like,
it's weak. It's so weak. Like, the best game today is kicking off in an hour, and that's Miami and Texas A&M. By the way, I apologize. Jordan says no flight today. No flight. We didn't do a flight last week either. No flight. There are 3 football games on. We'll be watching them, and then there's NFL games, but there's sadly no Nebraska basketball. This is hilarious. I was supposed to be in a little Nebraska basketball chat, and we just turned it back into college.
I know, man. I'm a touch nervous about. It's not a touch, not a ton, but they haven't done this.
Nervous because of injuries, right? Not because of like the game.
Injuries? Who's injured? Is there an injury?
No, like a touch nervous, like you don't want anyone to get hurt right now.
Well, but I don't know. The USC Upstate came in, and they were the worst team Nebraska's played all year, and Nebraska came out flat as can be against them in that game. And North Dakota just beat Winthrop. Like, I think maybe they were, they're not a top 150 team, but like that was a pretty good win to beat Winthrop in that game. And so it's a common opponent, and it's just I'm not super concerned about it, but I just, man, don't screw this vibe up, because I want to stew in this at least to Michigan State, so I can get to that point where we get to that week of that Michigan State game and everything is in place for whatever happens. You just don't have big basketball games like that here with everything set up. Like it feels like a football game anticipation to me in ways that I've only felt for No Sit Sunday for one specific game.
That atmosphere should be pretty wild because you're going to get through the next two. You're going to be 13-0. So it's, again, they're just going to keep extending this streak. And then it's going to be a top, 12?
Oh, top. Yeah. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know.
Top 15 matchup for sure.
I don't know if there are enough other like tough matchups for teams that are 10 through 14 for any of them to drop. But
at the very least, we're talking a top 15 matchup.
Top
what
15,
is the
yeah.
Jack? What's the lowest combined number if you were to add Nebraska's ranking and the opponent's ranking to ever happen in Lincoln?
That is a great question. I'm gonna guess. Well, Nebraska in 91 got up to what 13, 12, 11.
Yeah, we talked about that on one of our.
And they played. They played.
So their lowest number was 11. Okay, here we go. On January 20th
that year, who's probably pretty high.
So they were 18 when they played. Oh wait, that was at Kansas. I got to find a game in Lincoln. Let's see. Okay,
like
Oklahoma the last
State might have been high, or Missouri.
The last game of the regular season, they hosted Kansas. Nebraska was ranked 15 and Kansas was ranked 10. So that was a total number of 25. Will this number be lower than 25?
That's a really interesting. That's an interesting question. Yeah, 14 or 15 in Michigan State, they have an easy slate. And where are they right now? 8? So I don't know where Michigan State even is off the top of my head.
I'm pulling up the rankings right
I know
now.
they're in the top 10. It's a single
Michigan State is 9. So right now the total number is 24.
So if either of them go up, yeah,
the number gets lower.
Wow. And neither of them have games they're close to underdogs in. So yeah, that's I wonder if there's another one where Nebraska broke in against in like when they played Kansas in 2018 or something. Maybe. I don't think was that because they were ranked that year, right? For a tiny bit.
Yeah, but they didn't play them in 2018, right? They played them in 2017 in Lincoln.
Oh, 2017. I had the wrong year.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there was a year when they got in for a cup of coffee or 2014 or something like that.
Well, yeah,
maybe
so, I mean that's going to be, dude. That is going to be awesome. I hope you get to go. But if not, we'll have a post-game pod that will start a little bit earlier.
I do. Going would be fun. That's a game I want to be at. I really do. But and it is just such a unicorn of a game being
seriously
on a Friday night on what is essentially a holiday.
Yep.
That is not going to be a work day for a wide variety, a large number of people. 8:00 as well, which I'm going to bitch about for every other game, but that one.
But not a Friday game, yeah, for sure.
I love it. The only thing I'm disappointed about is that it's on Peacock. Because
Riss was pretty pissed about that for work. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I know that. And it just it's probably standing kind of alone, I would think, that night, in terms of what else is going on. I don't know if are there still bowl games going on that night at that time?
There might be, yeah. On the second, I have no idea.
There's probably at least at 8:00, you're not competing with a lot of you might have one other big college basketball game on.
Jack, I'm looking right now, dude, at the schedule. That is easily the game. The USC plays Michigan on Peacock that night, and so Michigan's obviously ranked.
Before them,
plays Iowa State. Iowa State's ranked. Gonzaga plays Seattle, but this is the only top 25 on top 25 matchup. It's a lot of mid-major and low-major stuff the rest of the way that night.
Like it could because it's on Peacock, it'll have a much smaller audience than it would otherwise. And like that bums me out, especially if it goes well. I would love to, have it's just fun to be in the spotlight, I guess, because it's okay. Like that's okay to think that Holiday Bowl's going on and Mayo Bowl are going on that night. So Mississippi State, Wake Forest, and Arizona SMU. So I don't think that's gonna drive a ton of people, to.
By the way, the other top 10 team coming into Lincoln, at least as it pertains to their ranking right now, is Purdue. They're ranked 6th, and that game is on the 10th of February, which is a Tuesday. And Jack, it's an early one. It's a 6:00 game on.
And my daughter has a school concert that night.
Congrats to Nebraska on another top 10 win this year. That'll be awesome.
I love the fine arts when they play Purdue. Who's going to a musical? D'Lo went last time. Who's going to a musical for us? Or
somebody go.
Some fine arts during the Michigan State game. You got to do it. We all take our turn.
Oh man. All right. So
So
there
I'm
you go.
still,
That's
and then the only other thing I want to say,
yeah.
Josh, is like,
Yeah.
I don't mean to jinx anything, and you know that given who I am, I'm with Nebraska basketball. I'm never going to get super over my skis in what I am confident is going to happen. But thinking about the world if they win that game is
my
is
gosh.
almost it's almost too much to bear. Because, like, I mean, I think they have another game. They have another game on Monday, so there won't be a poll that comes out, I believe.
Yeah, they
Or
play
there will
Ohio.
be. There will be a
there
poll
will
that comes
be
out right before that game.
against
So
Ohio State, a 5:30 game.
Yeah, so they would go into the Ohio State game. And Ohio State hasn't been. They've had a little bit of a drop now. Nebraska will come in. I don't know that they'll be favored in that game, but they'll come in as a top 10 team. And
wow.
I mean, I'm like, it depends how willing to be crazy that you're thinking of, but be thinking about. But what if they win that at Ohio State, which that'll be. You could argue that's a better matchup for Nebraska than Michigan State is, even though it's on the road. Well, if they could go to number 1 Michigan,
at the end of January
in a few weeks.
Woo-wee.
Wow. Is that the battle for number 1?
Wow, people are asking. People are asking. John Rothstein.
I love just saying it, even though I know I don't believe it. But God, the fact that I could even say that with it being a true non-zero chance of happening.
Good Lord.
Is unbelievable.
By the way, that Michigan game, also Peacock.
Man, the Big Ten, great job, dumbasses.
At least Peacock is now available on YouTube. At least it's on YouTube TV now. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Peacock is available on you. Yeah, it's like NBC Sports is what the channel is.
Oh, really? Okay, well then that changes my opinion a little bit.
Yeah, but it's only for now. It's only on YouTube TV. I don't think it's on like the other cable operators, but it's not available on Cox Cable just yet.
The plurality of people have that, I think, in terms of streaming services.
Yeah, but if you have a regular cable, I don't think you have it yet, but maybe you will. Yeah.
Wow,
so that's
cool.
It's all the stuff that we have coming up. Yeah. So we'll be covering Nebraska basketball, especially once we flip into 26 and the schedule is more regular and they're playing conference games all the time. We'll be doing a ton with the Nebrasketball Hour. I have to imagine we will do a watch party along the way, maybe more than just one. So stay tuned for all the deets on that.
And we'll hopefully Nebraska wins easily on Sunday night. We, of course, will hit that game, but we'll probably have some more large level, and I'll do some more Nebraska ball edging on Sunday night if they win.
Excellent.
I'll finish that story that I was telling.
Perfect. So coming up over the next couple of days before the witching hour tomorrow with Matt McMaster and me, tomorrow night in a Nebrasketball Hour. The game's at 7. Did you say, Jack? So the show will start at 9:30 ish. Is that what we're talking about for tomorrow?
In that range. Okay. That range. I'll text Josh and Caleb a estimated start time when I see where I'm at on the road.
Perfect.
And then you can put that out if you're home, if you're able to do that.
Yep, I will indeed. So we'll have that coming up tomorrow. Also coming up over the next few days, a reminder, we will not be doing an I-80 live because of the holidays. We will not be doing an I-80 football show as well because of the holidays. And then we'll be back after Christmas. We will do a coffee show next week, right, Jack? You're not out of town, are you? So we'll do a Saturday morning coffee show.
I'm out of town. Yeah, I'm in Iowa.
Okay. All right. So I'll figure something out for the coffee show next week. And then the football show the following week with Bill Connolly previewing the college football playoff. And we'll get back on a bit more of a regular schedule, though, certainly starting.
And what are we doing around the bowl game? Do we know what we're doing exactly?
That is a tease. We are still trying to figure it out. We have some, again, remember, what did I say earlier, Jack? We have some things in the hopper. We got some, we have some high-level discussions going on what we could be doing. That. That's a New Year's Eve game. We are not going to do a post-game show that night. That is for sure what we're not going to do because there's a college football playoff game, and it's also New Year's
Eve. Spend it with your family.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
And a good question from Gino. Just joined the chat. Is Volleyball State doing a season wrap? Yes. Thank you, Gino. They will be doing a podcast tomorrow. That one for subscribers only. When they record live, it will come out on Tuesday. But yes, they will be going tomorrow because the national championship. That is at 7. Well, I assume it's at 7. I know Lincoln is down in Kansas City, so I guess we got.
I don't know if that could potentially change. I bet, but we'll see.
I'll send them a message in the group chat. So
because what time is the national championship on
Sunday? It's in the afternoon, right? Isn't it amazing how just
man? Can imagine what this weekend would be if that. Oh man.
I know. Thanks a lot, Nebraska. Just totally ruined everything. All right. So those are the things we got going on. Really appreciate everybody. Like and subscribe on the way out the door. We are closing in on 2,000 YouTube subscribers, which is nuts for us. We would love to have you if you're not subscribing already.
Get there by New Year's.
Get there by New Year's. Subscribe today, please. He's Jack. I'm Josh. Thanks for joining us on the Saturday Morning Coffee Show. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.